This episode of The Libby Show is brought to you by Black Box, your go-to space for tour rehearsals, photo shoots, and more. Our Black Box is your blank slate. Visit ips.live to book now.
Hey, this is Josh Dorr, and you're watching The Libby Show.
How did she do it? Do it. Do it. Do it.
Libby. Oh, oh. Libby. Oh, oh. Libby.
3,
Oh, oh.
2,
Libby.
1.
It's the Libby Show.
What's up, everybody? Libby here with The Libby Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Today's episode features a good friend of mine and SMACKSONGS songwriter artist, Mr. Josh Dorr. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, how are you? It's Friday.
It's Friday. It's couldn't have came at a better time.
Couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah.
And I hear you have a latest single out called I Owe You a Beer.
Yes.
And I thought it would be only right to get your favorite beer.
Oh,
A Miller
yeah, let's go. Are we cracking them?
We are cracking them. I hope these are twist off. They are.
Man,
Cheers. Eric, do you want one? Props to my videographer. Cheers to him, guys.
wow.
Here you go.
Beer on a Friday just
Beer on a
hits
Friday.
a little different, doesn't it?
Camille helped me out with this. I was like, what's Josh's favorite beer? She said Miller Lite. I was like, perfect, easy.
So,
So-
Miller Lite always works, but honestly, really pretty much just any beer works. For
Any
sure.
beer. So yeah, this is for if at any point I do owe you one. This is the one.
Right.
So talk about the single and where you got that narrative from.
So I wrote that one with Jordan Davis and Jacob Davis and Jason Gant. We were actually out on the bus in Chicago riding. We were just in the back room or whatever, and we just would park in front of the venue or whatever for the night, and we were just sitting there, and we ended up kind of kicking around that idea or like a guitar thing or whatever, and Jordan, I think, was like, I have this idea called like I Owe You a Beer, but we were just trying to find like a unique way to come at it as opposed to just the normal way. And we ended up kind of writing it towards the ex of the person that you're with right now, and kind of like a subtle shade, but more of a tip of the hat, and just be like, man, thanks for whatever you did, letting her go, screwing it up, whatever it was, but like I have her now, and like I owe you a beer for that.
For sure.
Right.
And I love that story because I feel like no one has done that yet. At least I haven't heard. And so to hear you, saying cheers to whoever is not in the picture anymore is just such an interesting take.
Yeah, thanks. That's exciting when you're like writing a bunch of songs all the time, when you kind of find a new little way to do something, at least new to us anyway.
For sure.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a song out there that's done it, but it felt new and really cool to us, and I just love the energy and the big anthemic chorus and whatnot. That's always something I'm drawn to.
Talk more about that, because you said it's throwing subtle shade to whoever this person is, but it's also really happy-go-lucky, kind of like, thanks, dude, moving on with my life. You know?
I mean, really, like at the base of it, it's a love song. Because there's lines in there. It's like, when I kiss her lips, I don't want to quit. And, it's like, there's lines in there that I feel like as a girlfriend or a wife or whoever would appreciate that, and like to hear someone's like really just excited to be with them, and even more excited that they get to throw a little shade at their ex too, But
it's like extra support.
Yeah, extra support. There you go.
So share more about your friendship with Jordan Davis. I hear you write with him a lot. There was a song that you had on his last album as well.
Yes. So we actually I met his brother Jacob we were playing the Bluebird for the first time, each of us. I don't know, 9-10 years ago, and we were playing there, and Jordan came to watch, and he was still living in Louisiana at the time, and we just kind of hit it off, and he mentioned wanting to move up to Nashville, and at the time I was looking for a place to live. I think it was off context, but about the fire thing I was telling you about. And it was somewhere after that, and I found a house, and I called him, and I said, hey, I know you're looking for a place to live, and I mean, if you want to come stay with me or whatever, I got a room. And
that's awesome.
So we ended up living together for like 4 or so years, and then we just started writing songs together when we both didn't know what we were doing. And I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of throwing it at the wall, but we just kind of, we just wrote as much as we could, and we were both trying to get publishing deals, and then, you know, we kind of just had this thing where like whoever got success first, and you know, we just kind of wanted to make sure that we stayed in our crew, and kept writing songs, and then we ended up writing, I think it was the same weekend we wrote I Owe You a Beer, we wrote Selfish too. We had a great weekend.
That sounds like a really good weekend.
It was a really good
cheers
weekend.
To it.
Yeah, cheers to that weekend too. And it was, I think it was that same weekend, and we wrote a song called Selfish, and that one ended up going on his last record, and that was really cool because he was starting to blow up, and you know, we get to go and go to the show, and like we'd write, you know, before the show or whatever, and then you go and watch the show, and like people are vibing to it, you know, and like we're like having drinks on the side of the stage, so we're vibing with it, and like you're like out there and you're like, whoa, damn, like these people are singing this song back, and like that was like kind of like the first like big song with someone at his level that I've gotten to like literally be like part of like the seed, and then writing it and growing it and watching it grow, and then becoming like, you know, a song that a lot of his fans really like. So it was really cool.
For sure. And I feel like every songwriter wants that, to have that feeling.
Yeah.
It's
so crazy.
From what I remember you saying, that you've been here for 10 years. I've been here for 10 years as well. 11. Wait, when did you get here?
2010.
So did I.
January
So I miscounted. So 10, 11 years here. Talk about those seeds that you did plant early on, and maybe even share how your perspective has changed over those several years living here.
I mean, just like the town alone, in the 11 years, like, you know, there's like 5 skyscrapers downtown, and now there's like 40 of them or something. Right. You know, it's like the whole city has changed so much. Like the whole game has changed, like, you know, with like TikTok and all these apps, and like I was here before, you know, all the Spotifys and Apple and things like that, and so just like kind of coming into that as all that was happening was just, you know, you just kind of have to, you know, keep paying attention and try to stay in the know of that stuff, and stay on top of it, and but like planting seeds, really, I mean, it's like networking, like just going out, and when I first moved to town, I would go to like 3 different shows every night, and like songwriter rounds, and I would just like listen to people that in the rounds, and you know, and I would find one of them that I thought was really cool, and I just walk up to him after the show and like, hey man, like I really like what you do, we should write sometime. You know, like the whole Nashville thing. Like, we should write sometime.
Someone should make a t-shirt that says that on
I'm sure there's got to be some out there, and and we just do that, and then you just kind of keep building on those, and then it just takes time too. It's like, you know, I think that's the part that I've learned the most being here as long as I have, is just like patience and like trust in the process, and like, but also like finding happiness in the process, because like I love the process, like I love writing songs, like, and especially writing songs with your friends and people that, you know, are going through the same stuff or have gone through the same stuff. And then, you know, now I'm like seeing some of my friends have like huge success, and like it just makes it like really cool to, you know, come from like, oh my God, what is this place?
Yeah.
And like, what have I done? Because there's definitely some moments you go out to shows and you see someone like 5 years younger than you, and they're so much more talented than you, or like can play the guitar like insanely good, you know, and you're just like,
It's like
wow.
a little bit of imposter syndrome in a sense.
Yeah. Huge. Like, and I didn't come from playing music at all as a kid, and like no one in my family does. And honestly, it was like really, there's no industry for it in Wyoming. But shocker, I know. But
why not in Wyoming? I don't know. Let's take a guess.
I know. I don't know why, but yeah, it was just like there's just not a lot. That wasn't like the thing to do there. It was sports there, and like my family was really athletic, so of course like 2 older brothers that were really good at sports, like I was gonna play sports. But you know, so then coming here, and I'm like with these kids that have been like going to like as much as I was playing and training.
Yeah.
They were sitting behind their piano or their guitars, just like practicing scales and like writing songs ever since they were like little teenagers, and I'm going like, what am I even doing here? Like I used to write poetry and like short stories and then hide them in a folder, and no one would ever see them.
Do you still have that folder?
Oh, I'm sure I do somewhere, and I'll burn them before I ever let anybody touch them.
Anyone know?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're just all like really terrible, like sad love poems to like a girl I had a crush on or something at the time. But like, yeah, those will go up in flames before they ever see the light of day.
I feel like when like we're adults, we're emotional, but like when you're in your early to mid 20s, it's like I wanted to be like Libby, like it's not that deep, like it's
like,
okay,
you're fine.
you know?
You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of teenage angst in there, you know, and but yeah, it's just been crazy. Like I came here thinking I'd be on the business side. Really, I was interning at a record label, and just wanted to learn how a record label worked, and then I interned at a publishing company, and that's when I started seeing all these songwriters that were like my age, and they're showing up at like 11 o'clock and like chilling, hanging out, writing a song and getting done at like 3 and going and eating taco mamacita or whatever.
You're like,
and
I want that life.
What are they doing? And she's like, well, if you get good enough at writing songs, like you can get a publishing deal and you get paid to write songs. And it was just like mind explosion. I didn't even like register that like that was a job, because I just thought like every artist wrote their own songs, you know?
Right.
So it was just like that whole process of like changing gears. And then I was really shy and did not like being in the center of attention or anything like that. And like writing songs and opening myself up and like doing all those things was really scary and exciting at the same time. And I just like fell in love with it. And now I've just been doing it professionally for like 8 years now.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's so awesome. So 8 out of those 11 years.
You
really made the most of it.
7 or 8 years, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. At this point, doesn't really matter. You're a native of Nashville at this point.
Once you're like over 5, I think like it's just like it's all the same.
Whatever. Yeah, but it made me think about how there are a lot of people here who were super shy. Like I know for myself, I was super reserved. And if you would have told me 10 years ago, you're going to be in front of the camera, I'd be like, no, sorry. Like, I don't really want to, be out there. And it's just kind of funny how like God will tap you on the shoulder and be like, no, you need to go do this,
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Like, I think I just thought as like a kid, I just spent so much time playing sports. Like, I just had it in my head, like, I got to do something like in that vein.
Yeah.
If I'm not playing it, I'm going to be training people or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I was playing football in college, and I just like had so many injuries and surgeries, and I just you're watching your top speed go like way down. You can't jump as high, like you can't do all these things. You're like, okay, time to like own the fact that this is not like your course. Granted, like talking about like God or fate or whatever, like tapping you on the shoulder, it was like beating me on the head, like you are going the wrong way. Like I don't know how many times I need to hit you, but like go somewhere else. And for whatever reason, I just decided to buy a guitar because I had my foot up in a boot, and I just started learning how to play. And a guy on my football team was like a spoken word poet, and he would do like he's super sick. He's Jovan, and he would like freestyle rap. Like you could literally like say any word to him and he would just like flow, and like so smart. And I learned one song by this like indie band that I was into, and I learned how to play it and was kind of singing along to it.
What indie band was it?
There's this guy called 5 Times August.
Okay.
And like kind of like acoustic
Gotcha.
indie stuff. And I learned how to play that song barely, and definitely never sang it or did anything in front of anyone. And Jovan was walking by my room when he heard me playing, and he was like, dude, I got this like talent show thing I'm doing, and like I think you should come play it. And I'm like,
it's always a talent show.
Hard pass. Like school talent show too, so like all your peers are there, and like the football team, and I was like new on the team. I'd only been there for like a couple months.
Yeah.
And he ends up convincing me, he's like, dude, there's only gonna be like 50 people there, like not gonna be a big deal, like no worries. I walk out on stage, and then like 3/4 of the school auditorium is completely full, and like I've never heard my guitar on a like monitor. I've never heard my voice even on a microphone, just standing holding it talking. So I had no clue, and like the sounds bouncing everywhere, and I played my song, and you know, I feel like people kind of sympathy clapped. I don't know if it was like what it was, but like it was that moment where you're like, aha, I think I can
get there.
Well, yeah, and it was just like, you know, you're looking for like a void to fill the hole that you just like like when you quit. Like I quit football and sports because I just couldn't do it anymore. So I was like, I need to find something else to like fill that like adrenaline void or whatever that was. And then like I played that one song, and just like people clapping or whatever, I was like, that was terrifying, but like absolutely couldn't sleep that night, you know. And then that's when you're like, there might have been. It's also like, it's like, I
don't know if I'm good at this, but I love it, and I couldn't imagine not continuing to do it despite what my skill set is at that moment.
Right.
Which I'm sure was different from measuring, you know, your speed or whatever with football.
Yeah, it was like hands down one of the most terrifying things that I've ever done.
And it brought you here.
Yeah.
So a little bit earlier, actually, before we were recording, we were talking about celebrating the small wins.
Yeah.
And, you know, we see our friends who are on their way to making it, and we're even more excited for them because we have seen those small steps and celebrations to get there. So share how you celebrate those small wins, or those little things, maybe something that someone said to you that maybe no one will have ever had seen or whatever, but, you know, meant something to you.
I mean, yeah, it's like, because I feel like you can't hang your hat on, like, even though it feels exciting and like something happens, but like this town like trains you to not get like super hyped and throw all your marbles in one basket, because like you can get let down, and that the letdown hurts a lot worse when you're like building it up. But like I don't know, I always, you know, if like even if a song of mine goes on hold for an album, like you never know, like a hold's like, you know, you don't know if they're going to record it, but they like it enough to like hold on to it, maybe listen to it. And like 9 times out of 10, that probably isn't going to make the record. Right. But like, you know, say like I got a hold for somebody, you know, I would definitely like go out, like have a drink, go out to eat or something. And just like, I try to celebrate like going in the right direction. Like I haven't landed that thing yet, but like everything else up to that point is saying like, you know, you just walked by the sign on the hiking trail that's like that way. You're heading there. You just got to keep going. And like, so that's kind of like, I try to just celebrate the, like, hey, it's not for sure, but like, just keep going and put your head down. And like, that's the time to put your foot on the gas, you know? And
yeah.
But I'd try to just go have a drink or something, maybe go get some margaritas.
Celebrating the possibility.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a fun thought.
Fun thought. Always having fun thoughts about what could be, you know?
So many fun thoughts.
Just holding on to them. You said something about a hiking trail, and I got to mention that you and your girlfriend, Camille, who's one of my good friends, y'all took this really, like, long trip, road trip, epic trip out west. And so I just want to hear how that was for you, especially during a year where we were all like, where are we going?
Well, that's why we took the trip, because we were like sitting there and, you know, and half of our whole basement is, you know, completely down to the studs. So it's like we're using half of our house. So you got all of your stuff in half of your house. And we're kind of just looking around. We're like, I am about to lose my mind. And I'm stir crazy. And then we're like, well, I'm writing on Zoom. You're working from your computer. And we were talking about going home to Wyoming and visiting my family, but like we didn't want to fly because of COVID and you know, and bring that back to my family, the whole airport grime. And so I'm like, well, I got some family in Colorado, and then we just kind of were like
connecting the dots.
Do this, and then like, you know, and I got family like. My cousin's friend has a place that we could stay in Jackson Hole or in Utah, and I got a friend in Jackson Hole, and I got a friend in this, and my uncle lives in San Diego, and then we just like we didn't even have our map rooted out until we were already like almost in Colorado for our first stop, and we just got there and we stayed at my aunt's in Colorado Springs, and we went all the way up to Yellowstone, hit all the 5 big national parks in Utah, Joshua Tree. We ended up all the way out in San Diego, and we did a tour of California burritos because those are my favorite things. And so literally we were there for like 4 or 5 days, and every day we went to a new restaurant to try their California burrito, and then we did a rating system at the end.
Oh my god, what got the highest rating for you?
Oh god,
you don't remember?
Camille would remember. She like writes that stuff down.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'm like,
she's the
man,
type
you
A,
remember
like...
that one spot by the beach that sold California burritos? Or like all of the places that sell California. But it started with an A, I feel like, but it was so good. Like the thought of putting hand cut seasoned French fries in a burrito.
Stop it.
Just like
sounds so
nobody
good.
does that, but there. I mean, that's why it's the California burrito, but it's literally one of my favorite foods.
I love that. I love that for you. And
yeah,
for her.
It was great. Like
have y'all tried to recreate it here?
No, we haven't.
No.
That's a good thought though.
You should put it on TikTok. You know, maybe.
I do get down in the kitchen though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you like to cook together?
I like to cook chicken curry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That one's good, super easy, and you can make like a huge thing of it and like eat it all week. Yeah. But I don't know. I like rice bowls. Anything like rice bowls, like veggies and like some sort of meat and sauce.
So basically, we're making like a Chipotle bowl. Yeah. You're all about that.
Yeah, all about it.
Cool. So what's it like being with somebody that's also in the music industry? Because I feel like, I'm going to be honest, I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, they'll tell me, oh, you shouldn't date somebody in the music industry. Maybe you should. Like, and I never know. So, like, I want to hear just what that's like for you.
I mean, I think it's awesome. Like, our relationship's great. Like, she just has a really good ear. And, I mean, obviously, like, works where she does. And she is fielding songs for big artists. And, so sometimes it's tough impressing her, but like I would rather have that than at least doing it as long as I've been doing it now. Like I would rather have someone that's like, that song's not like you could have nailed the hook better. And I'm like, damn it, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, but like it's always, you know, it's all out of love. So like in the long run, you know, it's nice having someone that gets what I do and understands like my process and the whole creative process and like an environment for that. But she's also really creative too. Like she was like blessed with like both sides of the brain that, you know, she's like high functioning, like very organized, very book smart, very on top of things. And she's like an amazing painter. She's a great singer. She can play guitar.
I didn't know she could sing.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah,
She has never. Did not know that. That's so cool.
But that's all. Like, I mean, we were dating for a few months before. Like, she like pulls out this like canvas painting, and I was like, "You painted that?" Like, yeah. And here's this one, and then this one, and then she wound up like even doing some artwork for Morgan Wallen's "Cover Me Up." She drew that, and Hardy's single called Boots.
Okay.
She drew that, and she's done some like Chris Lane, and it was just like
That's
that.
awesome.
That I'm so jealous of people that can just like sit down and like whip something out on paper. Like, it's just, I think that's the coolest thing in the world. But yeah, it's really nice like getting to have, and she's just really smart with the business stuff, like helping me with my artist stuff and like what I need to be doing and reminding me to TikTok.
Reminding you, isn't that funny that that's like a verb, like or an action? I mean, like, I don't know. It's just I keep thinking about how many apps we have now, like Clubhouse.
I love Clubhouse.
So I'm on there, but I have not yet actually used it to its full.
Oh, I haven't either, but I just like pop in rooms and kind of check out what people are talking about, and I'm like, all right, that was cool.
Like,
and,
that's what's it. That's
you
what's
know,
up.
but I think it's a really cool idea, and you know, I was like in the room with like a New York Yankees ex-player the other day, and I'm like, where else would you get to just sit in your living room and listen to this dude talk? And like some guy, like business mogul guy that, you know, had this crazy life backstory, and now he owns like 150 different businesses and owns a hotel in Morocco, and he was calling in from Morocco in his hotel, sitting there like telling us about it, and hey, if you ever need any advice on money or investments, like hit me up. And I'm like, can I just come stay at your hotel in Morocco though? Like, how do we make that happen?
Like, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Like where you are right now?
Yeah. So I just like, you know, when you take like a step back from some of those apps that like, I feel like we all kind of take for granted a little bit, because we're just like, oh yeah, it's whatever. But like 10 years ago, if you're like, dude, we could get in and sit down and listen to like a professional baseball player talk about like his backstory and his life and whatever. And it's like, we would never have had that access to people. So I think that's pretty cool.
Creates a community that wasn't there.
Yeah. And like the networking off of it alone is already like, just for like Nashville rooms I've popped in, they're like, hey, this guy's an artist and he's looking, is there any like PR photographer people out there? And then people start pinging and they're like, hey, like, Jody, come up and talk about like what he needs to do as a PR person. And like she walked through, and like I'm sitting there like taking notes, and you know, and like, hey, like, and this dude does photography. You guys should you know, holler at each other, and like he can come do photos. And they're like, oh, word, like, yeah, I'll email you. And I was like watching that happen, like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And especially during COVID, where we all can't go to Red Door.
We really can't go to real life Red Door. We have to, but that's cool. I hope maybe there could be a cool like video component of it too at some point.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's already there with other things, but I think from an audio standpoint, to be able to just have normal conversation without it being formatted like that is interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like a virtual mixer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, cool. Well, I want to hear when you decided you wanted to go from songwriter to artist, or I guess do both, as I would say.
It was 100%. I never planned on really being an artist at all. Mm-hmm. I was just kind of nose down, like writing songs. I was interning and waiting tables, and just like, you know, just trying to write as many songs as I could. And because I was kind of taking notes when I was at the publishing company for writing, and just like the people that I really were drawn to that were artists were like songwriters first for like a good amount of time, and really built up their catalog and then became artists. You know, like Hardy's a good example of that. Like, and and then I just wanted to always be known and respected and like validated through my songs. in my community, I guess, first. But then Jim Catino from Sony called me one day, and he said he had come across a song that I'd written with a buddy of mine, Ryan Hurd, and it was this song called Ready or Not, and he was just like, man, I know who Ryan is, but I don't know anything about you, and why don't you come in and play me some songs? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Like, I don't, like, kind of almost felt like you were going to the principal's office a little bit, like, but like in an exciting way, but you're like, should I be terrified? And we ended up kind of hitting it off, and I came back like 2 or 3 more times after that. And at that point I was like, all right, man, well, like, we're kind of scratching the barrel at like my song list. Cause I don't have, like, I'd only been writing songs for like 3 or 4 years maybe. And long story short, he ended up, he's like, well, I thought we were going to maybe think about signing or just finding some songs from you for our other artists. But I like the way that you sing your songs. And like, so what do you think about being one of our artists? And I was just like, do I have to still wait tables? I remember asking him, I was like, oh, sure. I think, yeah, that sounds like a good thing. Like, I was just so like new. I didn't even know like what that would even detail or whatever. And I'm like, or entail. And I was just like, so do I don't have to wait tables? He goes, no, we're going to get you out of that. And I was like, praise Jesus.
I bet that's so great to hear that.
Oh my God. I like slam dunked my apron on my last shift of working at the restaurant. Just like, bye.
Bye, guys. Peace
Get
out.
out of here.
And I hope you celebrated that win.
Oh my God.
Hardcore.
For sure. That was like,
you didn't know me
that was
okay.
24-year-old me or something. So I'm sure we went out and just did the thing. But yeah. And then I got signed to a publishing deal after that. But it was like in the same week.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just like this thing that like doesn't happen, and it just kind of like rolled into a thing and happened. And the next thing I know, I'm like on radio tour, and I'm on this big record label, and you know, I'm label mates with people like Garth Brooks and Chris Young and Jake Owen and all these guys, and I'm like, talk about like imposter syndrome. I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even know what's going on. So it was crazy, but yeah, I never expected any of that to happen. But then once it did, and you start playing shows and you get more comfortable on stage, and you're like, wow, this is like incredible. This is really fun. And I love traveling, and I love like, you know, coming from sports, I love like being in like a team, like having a band and like traveling with your team and going through all those things. It's very much, there's a lot of that I can relate to sports. And so I was just like, I love this, like the camaraderie of it. I feel like I was missing from sports for a long time, and I didn't really realize how much I missed it. And then you get to go out and tour with your guys and play shows, and you know, in front of 3 people some nights or 0 people, or like, you know, and then you get like one good opening slot, and you're like in front of 10,000 people, and you know, just like the ups and downs and stuff. I'm like, all right, this is so exciting and new and crazy. Like, I'm in. Like, I love this, and I just, I just wanted to keep doing it, and so here we are.
Here we are, and hopefully we'll get that back soon enough.
Right.
Being able to travel, and
I
think it's an interesting point you make too about, you know, saying that it's a team effort situation where it's like you enjoy being along with the band, being along with the crew and people that make it happen. And again, talk more about how important those people are in the industry, because I feel like while they do get credit, I, you know, really respect what they do and the time that they take away from their families to travel and tour for a variety of artists. So what has it been like?
Just having like with your band and your it's I mean, it's completely like crucial and necessary. I think, you know, like I think just with anything you have to in order to be successful, you know, it takes a village usually, and you know, you have to do a lot on your own. But yeah, like, I mean, those guys, like, they have family, they have kids, they're you're calling them and be like, bro, sorry, like they're gonna pay me $100 for this show, like I can't pay you, but like they're like, well, I believe in you, dude, I got you back. And like I have so many guys that like whenever I get a large check, I feel like I need to cut them a check also just for like back pay of playing whiskey jams and shows, local shows and around the area where they normally could be pulling in $300 $400 a night or something, or even $200 a night, and I'm going like, here's 50, like just so I don't lose like a gazillion dollars tonight, and they're just like, dude, don't worry about it. And like that's just crucial to have those people, because like that they are in it for the right reasons. Like they're not just there to float around and get money, and you're not just another gig to them. So it's really cool, and just like and like your co-writers and your publishers and
like
just,
Smack.
Yeah, like
they're an
Smack,
awesome family to you.
They're awesome. Yeah. And again, like that's like a whole another team thing that like I can latch onto and put energy into and build, and it's just like really exciting, having that new energy, new creative energy, and because I've only been there a year, so it all still feels really new and exciting with them, and it's awesome. I love it.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens with your music, with music that you're writing for other artists. The biggest thing that you're looking forward to in terms of the new singles that you have coming out over the next couple months. About that, no, you don't even have to say what it is or like what the songs are called, obviously. But like something about the way that you produced or came up with those ideas that you're excited for people to hear.
I don't know. It's just exciting in general putting out music at all, because it feels like you're letting one of your babies fly off into the world, and you're like, please don't die.
Don't run into a tree.
Don't hurt. Yeah. But it's just weird, because I think for me, there's still that kid that's latched onto those like poems and stuff like inside me somewhere. So I'm like, like I don't like hit send on the distribute button, and it's really nerve-wracking, but it's just, I don't know, like even if there's a bunch of bad ones, like you find like one comment that this like made someone's whole day or life or changed them, or it just makes it all worth it. And, I don't know, it's a really special and unique feeling. It's kind of addictive in a way.
Love that. Yeah. Can never get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's why you're a songwriter.
Yeah.
You have to be addicted to letting those songs do their thing.
Well, and it's like, I think it's also just the thought of like, well, I'm writing so many songs, like, like, why not let the world hear them? Because who knows who it might affect or not, but like, it would just be a shame to let those just collect dust somewhere on a computer or whatever, and not let them out. So it's nice to let a few of them out when you can. For
sure. Well, you guys are going to be able to hear one of them in just a couple minutes. I Owe You a Beer, obviously, with the beer that we got here. So, and you can follow Josh on Instagram, Facebook. Are you on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, Twitter. Josh Dorr Music.
I think Twitter's just Josh Dorr, but everything else is Josh Dorr Music.
Awesome. Well, go check it out, everybody. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And sharing your whole journey and everything. And
hopefully I didn't talk too much. I don't know.
I want you to talk a lot.
Okay, good.
It's for the people. Now you know his whole life story. Congratulations.
Yeah, right? So it started in kindergarten.
It started. And then I played football.
Yeah.
And then I wrote songs and poems.
And then
I traveled in the wild in Wyoming.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool deal.
It's all there.
Well, thanks for being here. Thank you for watching. And be sure to go follow The Libby Show everywhere you watch content. Peace out, everybody.
Hey everybody, this is Josh Dorr, and this is a new song of mine called I Owe You a Beer. You can go stream it or find it anywhere online, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, all that. It goes like this.
while. Your name comes up, long pause and an awkward smile. Yeah, just for a minute I clench my fist, get pissed and I bite my tongue. But I cool down quick, cause I gotta be a runner-up, second to last one. And I appreciate you being there, but I just gotta ask, how did you miss this? Damn, I'm glad you did. Just when I kiss her lips, I don't wanna quit. You could tell me to go to hell and I wouldn't blame you, but we both wish you well and I wanna thank you. 'Cause when you walked away, that's what brought us here. All that I can say, brother, how you will be. How'd you ever get tired of the way she laughs? How could you run out on a heart like that? All's fair in love and war, but it ain't your fight no more. I hope you found what you're looking for, but 'cause how did you miss this? Damn, I'm glad you did. Just when I kiss her lips, I don't wanna quit. You could tell me to go to hell and I wouldn't blame you, but we both wish you well and I wanna thank you. 'Cause when you walked away, that's what brought her here. All that I can say, brother, how you will be. And I wanna shake your hand, stand toe to toe, man to man, look you eye to eye. So I can't understand. So how did you miss this? Damn, I'm glad you did. Just when I kiss her lips, I don't wanna quit. You can tell me to go to hell and I wouldn't blame you, but we both wish you well and I wanna thank you. When you walked away, that's what brought her here. All that I can say is, brother, how you will be. How you will be. Brother, how you will be.
Hey everybody, this is Josh Dorr, and I got another song for you. It's called The Death of Me, and it goes like this.
Find some you love and let it kill you, that's what they say. So if it's true, I know how I'm going now. Yeah, I know how I'm going now. Like 100 miles an hour with the lights turned off on a dead-end road and the brakes are shot. No way of slowing down. That's how it feels right now. There's just something about your loving keeps my heart running like gasoline. And without it, I ain't nothing. Damn, I swear you're gonna be the death of me. Well, I'll never
love that one.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Real good one.
It's the Libby Show. The Libby Show. It's the Libby Show. It's the Libby Show.